do you guys think of handhelds?
Handhelds?
Handheld
the
mics?
mic?
Yeah.
I don't mind them one bit.
I'm not a huge fan.
It gives me a little more freedom because I can go like this. I can go like this.
Yeah.
And then we got our stands. I got to like keep my head here the whole time. And if I want to readjust, it's a whole stand.
That's true. I think it's the stand is more so a fidget type deal for me, where I'm constantly adjusting it and sticking it down my throat. And
You know, we got to... Wait, that's what you're doing?
Don't you usually do that with your handhelds?
Guys,
Nice.
here's the reason we don't have handhelds. We're out at Brainerd, Minnesota, the CRMC Championship. Cragun's Legacy courses. We were here last year for the PGA Tour Canada Pro-Am.
Well, we meaning just Ryan.
Just me out of the four of us. It was just me. And they're like, hey, you get to decide who comes with next year. I said, okay. So I've been watching you guys for the last 365 days.
That's not true.
And this is hey, this is the crew. So welcome to PGA Tour Canada Pro-Am week.
Actually, we did like talk about this, like us four as a scramble on this podcast like 3.5 months ago, and it's finally coming to fruition here.
And this could potentially be the biggest scramble of our lives.
I mean, yeah, the Pro-Am Scramble trophy is going to be sitting in between us any minute now.
Soon.
And I'm really excited. One, because I've never seen a trophy as cool as this one. And two, it might be our only chance to hold it if Trevor doesn't get his fucking driver figured out.
That's all I'm here for, is to drive.
Trevor is our drive guy today.
We are kicking ourselves in the behind by purposely getting into his head about the
I know. I don't know why we're chirping our guy.
I think it's but also we learned a lot about having fun on the course today, Tyler.
We did.
You and I, we have fun when we golf together.
We do. It's weird when there's no cameras. It's just Ryan. I today played so bad.
Tell us what you shot.
Well, I unofficially shot a 102 because that was certain holes. There were certain holes that I got so high 18 birdies wouldn't let me put the real score in.
Yikes.
But I also think that's the benefit of 18 birdies. Like, hey, mentally they're looking out for you. Like, we really don't want you to see a 14 on the scorecard, so we'll just cap you out at 10.
Which I appreciate because also the hundreds of people now that I'm friends with on 18 birdies also didn't see the 14 on the card.
Well, I will tell you this. So me and Trevor drove down here this morning after you guys did, and we were keeping up with your round. And
Were you really?
Yeah, you guys both started off great. You were like, I don't know, Tyler, you were like 4 over through 4. Ryan, you were 2 over through 4. We were like, dang, this is right where they're normally at. They're playing pretty good, usual golf. Anyways, me and Trevor checked like an hour later, and both you guys were
the same hole you blew up on.
Yeah, we did.
It was. Yeah, we both. Okay. Why is it in golf that the easiest holes are the hardest holes ever?
It was like the 17 handicap hole, and Ryan aided it, and I think I legitimately got a 12, but 10 was the highest it would let me give on 18 birdies.
Think about it. It's also a par 4. It's a 375 yard par 4.
Yeah, and it was like a have to lay up with an iron hole because there's a giant swamp that you're just right in driver length. So you have to lay up. And then it's just supposed to be, the whole hole is supposed to be iron, you're putting.
So it's a let's just say it's a 200 yard iron off the tee to clear the first bit of marsh. And then it's like another 180 yard iron to clear the next piece of marsh. You're on the green in 2, and then you 2 putt for par.
Yeah.
For me, it was one of the worst shots in golf is like a thinned heel shot that just like it's slowly just.
I don't know. I think a lot of people really like hitting thin heel shots.
The thin heel shot could potentially be the worst looking shot in golf. Tyler looked at me, he said, "It didn't even sound like you hit the ball."
Yeah.
And I go, "Yeah, it's fucking thin heel."
Like he just swung and the ball moved, and I didn't hear a noise. You know, like usually you can hear if it sounds good or if it sounds bad.
Yeah.
There was just silence. It was like he scared the ball and it just took off.
Yeah. So 2 thin heel shots, and we're already hitting 5 from 168 yards out.
Yeah.
So things didn't go well on that hole, but also I have now come to learn I'm going to have one of those holes probably every round.
Yeah, and the thing is I shoot a 102 Ryan still shot an 85.
So you guys keeping track of my back nine?
7 straight pars.
I parred the last 7 holes.
I know.
The amount of
Whoopsies.
I had probably 5 birdie looks within 10 feet.
Legit birdie looks.
On the back nine, 0.
See, a couple weeks
okay
ago,
though. Hey, beggars can't be choosers. If we par 7 holes in a row, sure, why not? We'll take it.
a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how we should just play from the reds just to try and get that, like, to know what it feels like to get more than 4 pars in a row. You didn't even have to. Right?
Yeah, we played blues
We
today.
played blues today.
Not
dude.
even whites.
Not even whites.
Wow.
So it will say on 18 birdies we played whites, but because that's what we thought we were playing. And then the other 2 guys we were with were better than us, and they played blues. So we were just like, well, we're gonna play blues
Yeah.
too.
Oh yeah.
Can we? We have to talk about something real quick, and it's kind of like a massive change I've made in my game over the last 48 hours.
More pars, yeah, we know.
I know. Yeah. Less 8s, more pars.
Less doubles, more pars. I mean, obviously that's going to make you shoot lower scores, but the thin heel shot. The reason I bring that up was because that's the only shot I could hit for the last 3 weeks since Pine to Palm. Also, 2 years ago, I got the shanks at Pine to Palm.
Yep.
Worst time of my life. This year, thin heeled shots, Pine to Palm. I'm done playing Pine to Palm, dude.
Dude, it's
I'm
just
out of it.
it's unhealthy for your game. If you look statistically, you're 0 for 2 on having good, like, 5 rounds after the pine.
Well,
And, I mean, Ryan still won the consolation bracket.
Tyler, I'm leaving on top.
That's not on top.
I'm pulling
Top of the bottom.
No, it's on top of the Flight 14 consolation bracket.
Well, then I'm leaving on almost the top of the losers bracket.
It's like Khabib Nurmagomedov. He left the fight game at 29-0. He left on top. What better way for me to leave Pine to Palm than on top?
Then 2-1.
Okay, so here's what I started doing. For the longest time, and I've told people this before, I said, I don't feel like I have control of the club face as much as I used to. I don't know how open it is in my backswing. I actually tend to just black out in the golf swing. So I went from interlocked grip with the pinky and the index finger to overlapped grip.
Ooh.
How fucking crazy is that?
That is dramatic change.
I may
I
as
still rock the baseball grip, so
Yeah, it's very similar.
Is baseball grip
It's
the
pretty much.
interlocked?
no, baseball's just straight
That's what
on
I do
this.
too.
Yep.
I used to do interlocked, and then Lucas is like, unhook your pinky. And I was like, okay. And then I did, and nothing changed, but it's more comfortable.
No, so 2 out of the 3 here before this week, 2 out of 3 were not interlocking. You
Nope.
2 right there.
Yeah, we never were.
Nope.
And now I'm not interlocking either.
Jake, do you interlock?
Oh yeah, maybe I gotta quit.
Odd man
Yeah,
out,
you
dude.
Dude, I mean, for me, I think it's a classic tin cup moment. You know, you turn your hat to the side, you fucking throw a bunch of change in your pocket, you spin your shirt around, whatever. Something to get you to not think about your golf swing. For me, now I'm thinking about my grip, like, okay, is this comfy, whatever? And I'm just swinging the golf club. And I hit so many more better shots today than I have the last 3 weeks combined. So I think it's a classic tin cup moment. I think if you can just think of something, I mean, it's easier said than done.
I
but
think you just play better with me.
that's also part of it. No, I genuinely think that's part of it. I also play better with people I don't know the best.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because there's no standard. Like if I'm playing with my buddy Adam, like I know I probably have to shoot mid 80s to beat him. So there's no standard.
Also, shout out to Tyson and Bo. Good guys.
Yeah.
Very good guys.
We golfed the Preserve this morning with so Tyson is a guy that I played in the Pro-Am with last year. We got 6 holes deep. We got rained out in the Pro-Am. Kind of a shitty ending to it of like a really good first 6 holes. And we have kind of just kept in touch ever since. So we came down early today. We played around 18. Tyler got to meet him. We got to play a beautiful course. And we've had ourselves a day so far.
Yes, we absolutely have. And we would be remiss to not include how Ryan and I's day started with a absolute once in a lifetime chance. And
Dude.
I Googled this. It is quite literally what we witnessed today, once in a lifetime.
Wait,
It's
what?
also quite literally almost 10 times more rare that this happened than getting a hole in one.
Whoa.
And we fucking doubled up on it.
So this morning, Ryan and I punch in the Preserve into the GPS, and there's a little alternate route, one that I normally wouldn't take. And so we punch it in because it's 15 minutes faster. And so we are on some random back road highways, in the North Country of Minnesota, and we are seeing turkeys left and right. And there's a group crossing the road in front of us.
Group of turkeys.
A group of turkeys, and we notice a white one. So we drive up, and we look out. They're in the ditch now. Not only is there one white turkey, there are two white turkeys with a gaggle of a whole bunch of regular brown ones. So wild turkeys. We saw two albino turkeys. They were completely white with the reddish pink eyes, and they were this year's chicks for sure.
Model.
So they were this year's model of wild turkey.
They were probably they were a little bit bigger than like a pheasant, like a rooster.
Oh, they're tiny.
Yep. So yeah, they were for sure this year's chicks.
Yeah. Huh.
And we saw two albino ones, and then I googled the odds of seeing one albino turkey.
Yep.
And it's 1 in 100,000.
Jesus.
So to see two, and I'm someone can correct me on the math, but if I remember from my statistics class, you would times those two numbers together.
You're correct. Yep.
And so it's like 1 in like 10 billion or some shit to see two in the same spot.
Jeez.
Okay, getting a hole in one is 1 in 12,500 shots.
Yeah.
Seeing an albino turkey is 1 in 100,000 wild turkeys.
Now, if I know anything about statistics, we're playing a couple par threes tomorrow.
Dude. We rolled up to a multiple par threes today, this morning's round, and I had this weird feeling, and we had multiple balls that were going straight at the pin, and I could only think of the white turkey.
Well, think about
I
this.
thought it was going to happen.
Bro, what kind of good omen is that? Like, not only did we just see one albino turkey, we saw two, one for each of us.
You know,
I was going to say one for me, one for you.
also a black cat is a bad omen. The opposite mentally of a black cat is a white turkey.
Without a doubt.
So that's a
Without
good
doubt.
omen.
Mhm.
That is a good omen.
If you don't think if we get hole in ones tomorrow, I'm getting a white turkey tattooed across my back.
Yeah. Full back.
Full
Not
back
just like
tat,
shoulder blade.
fanned out albino turkey tattoo.
I might get full chest.
I like it.
The eyes would just be my nipple. Eyes would be my nipple.
Tyler,
That's how big it will
If
be.
that happens, I will go find whichever county road that is and hunt down those two turkeys.
We know that.
well,
We know that. No,
You can't hunt down our good luck omen.
No, you
PETA
want
will
to
come after you, dude.
That's right. Oh, shit, my
Will
bad.
come after you.
Get it together.
Yeah,
albino.
I don't want to mess with PETA.
Yeah.
Actually, now that I think
He's
about
not
it,
getting one tomorrow.
Imagine if we were bowling this week. Imagine if we were at like a bowling pro-am.
We would have had two perfect games.
I mean,
well,
300.
turkeys.
turkey after
Lot of
turkey.
turkeys.
So many
Lot of
turkeys.
Triple strikes. Yeah,
Yeah.
triple strikes.
Yeah.
So it was wild. We passed it, and I kept telling Tyler, I'm like, I drove by those two turkeys way too casually for what actually just happened.
Yeah, it didn't really register to each of us how rare of an occurrence or how rare of a thing we had just witnessed.
Well, and to me, they were like there was a farmyard right across the road, and to me, they were just like maybe birds, like chickens or something from the farmyard.
Yeah.
Well, we drive by the farmyard, and there's no birds to be seen. There's just it's a cattle farm.
Well, and before anyone comes at us in the comments, you are talking to Tyler Ziegler, raised in Frazee, Minnesota, home of the world's largest turkey. And not only is it home of the world's largest turkey, I worked in domesticated turkey barns for 3 years
That's
through high
correct.
school.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also killed countless wild
correct.
turkeys.
Yep.
I know the difference. These were two wild turkeys.
Do you have turkey days in Frazee too?
We absolutely do.
That's what I thought.
There's
Yeah.
no argument to be made that there were two wild albino turkeys. So
And
I don't
that's
know,
the
I think-
most important thing you will get from this episode.
I think the other important thing to take note of too is I noticed this. I'm gonna pivot from the turkeys a little bit.
Good call. We've been on them a while.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to do of all time at a golf course. Especially, okay, you go and you get like a brunch or a lunch. You play around. You go get something to eat at the clubhouse. Go and sit out on hole number 18 at that course. We're doing it right now. Our backs are to the pin, but normally I'd be eating my food outside, and I would be placing bets with my buddies on, all right, $5 says this guy doesn't hit the green. $10 says, this guy is long and left. You can throw odds down on it. If you win a bet, you get to choose what you want to go to next. Placing bets on random golfers coming into hole 18 from the clubhouse is an electric event that nobody's talking about.
So here's a drinking game that Tyson informed us of today, and that I might have Trevor go get beers for.
Ooh,
Really? Hold up. New drinking game
Wait,
just dropped.
it's Tuesday though. We can't be drinking on Tuesdays, you guys.
I've been drinking all day, Ryan. So make sure, first of all, make sure you have a ride home first and foremost.
Great.
We got Jake.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm good.
The next thing is you get your 4 guys or however many guys you want, and you guys sit out on the patio overlooking 18, and then you all pick a golfer from the fairway.
Someone just dunked one. You see that? Yep. You see the ripple over there on that pond?
Oh, I thought you meant dunked it in the hole.
No, sorry. I'm sorry, Tyler.
No.
You can't say that, Ryan, when
where?
the 9 green is right behind you.
I know. Go on.
So you sit overlooking the green, right? And you all choose a golfer that is in the fairway or rough or wherever. And whichever one of your golfer that you picked is furthest from the pin, they have to finish their beer.
Ooh.
That's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. He said that he was playing that last year at this tournament, or maybe the practice round or something. And before he knew it, 15 beers were gone.
Whoa. Hey, maybe we just, for lack of a better term, dry run it with the guys in the fairway behind you guys?
Yeah, Jake, you're the only one with eyes in the fairway. So next time you see someone out there, we'll play a quick practice round.
Okay, yeah. A dry run, as they call it. We don't have beer. So.
Yeah. Well, it'll be an IOU, finish your beer.
No, that sounds sweet.
Yeah, it sounds dangerous too.
And even if there's like a twosome coming into it, let's say you have 4 buddies and there's 2 golfers coming in, like 2 take one,
everybody
and 2
pick
take
a
the other.
side. Yep.
Yeah.
And it also will rotate who gets to pick first, obviously.
Yeah.
The loser should get to pick first.
That's fair.
I like that.
I'll
I
take
like that. We can modify Tyson's rules a little bit.
Yeah. So if you quite literally have nothing going on in your life and you don't have to, and you
How
don't,
about if you're just going to eat at a clubhouse?
yeah, that works too. But I'm saying, like, most of the time when I finish a round, I gotta get my ass back home.
Me too.
Or the wife will be.
Me too.
She'll be hollering. If I come home, 15 beers of playing a drinking game after 18 holes of golf, I will get my ass kicked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hang on.
Okay, I'm hanging on.
Hear me out. I mean, we all like playing 18 holes. I mean, that's just a given. But maybe sometimes let's just settle for 9 holes. Let's tell the wives that we're going to play 18 holes when we actually only play 9, and then we just head to the bar afterwards.
Yeah.
Because then you probably get an extra 2 hours of drinking in, 2 hours of drinking with your buddies that you'd never had before.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you had to cut your round short, but you also get 2 hours to drink with your buddies, which I mean, the times that we get to drink with our buddies these days is so much more spread out than when we can golf 18 holes. I'll sacrifice 9 holes to drink for 2 hours with my buddies.
Let
in the clubhouse.
me one up you here, Ryan. How about you tell your wife you're going to play 18 holes and then you just don't golf? You just go straight to the bar.
Really backed up at the turn.
It's just you do that. You only do that once every 3 months or so because you do want to play golf. Obviously,
I think you go to the clubhouse bar though.
that's fine. Yeah, because she checks your location.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I'm getting tons of texts in my pocket. Probably my wife.
I think you have to. I mean, it's a slippery. If you were to get caught, like, wife's friend, she's out at whatever sports bar. She sees you bellied up, takes a snap, be like, "Hey, Ryan's drinking this bar." So you're like, "What the fuck's he doing there? Why is he at this? He's supposed to be golfing right now."
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Course was quick today.
Yeah, 2 hours of golf, 2 hours of drinking. That's just playing 9 holes.
Yep.
Or 18 holes of golf, which turns into 0, and 4 hours of drinking. That's actually that could work.
Oh, that's perfect. So when you call your wife to come pick you up, you're already at the clubhouse.
You're at the golf course.
Yeah.
Does it bring your clubs with? No, just throw them in throw them in the pro shop or something.
Yeah.
Leave them outside on the bag stand.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe just go over to the, chipping the practice green and maybe just get those shoes a little green.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sell it a little bit. If you're drinking outside, you're probably already working up a sweat too.
Yeah. Come up with a story. Be like, yeah, you wouldn't believe it. So Jake was lying 8 and he chipped in for 5 over on a hole. Just have something unbelievable.
It was the craziest chipping I've ever seen.
Oh my God. It sucks to have to chip in and still get +5.
I do think I think the wives are starting to catch on. They're starting to catch on the slow play bit.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to catch on us blaming the group in front of us.
Yeah, I think that excuse is dead and gone, and we need a new excuse for the golf course.
Well, again, I think number one is like the reason that you're getting in trouble and having to blame it on slow play is because you want to go to the bar afterwards.
What if we just tweak it just a little bit, and it's no longer the group in front of you is playing slow. It's just one of your buddies, and everybody has that buddy that you could blame shit on and be like, honey, I'm so sorry, but Trevor was just playing so freaking slow today.
Yeah.
The group in front of us, we had no one in front of us, and we had 12 people behind us because Trevor wouldn't hurry up.
Yep. And Trevor, for this foursome, it is you, by the way, in case you're wondering. You are
unless you get that driver figured out.
I know. Or you just got to do a lot of solos and duos behind us. We let them all pass through. We're just trying to be nice guys,
I guess you're not like people aren't talking about letting others play through either. If you got 4 guys like it, that's just
common courtesy.
That's common courtesy to let a single and doubles play right through.
Yeah, but I do think it is absolutely time for us to change our excuse for our wife on why we're taking so long on the golf course.
Yeah, blaming it on your buddy that's a great, that's obviously a great option. I do think back to what we were talking about though, is tell her you're playing 18, just go play 9, and then you have a solid 2 hours that you can get a lot of boozing in.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we played a lot of golf. It's the end of the season. Skipping 9 holes ain't going to kill you.
No.
I mean, or like, big weather system came through. Had to postpone play for about an hour. So we've just been hanging in the clubhouse. We're only 7 holes deep. But
I know I've been gone for 6.5 hours, but we're only on hole 8.
Well, honey.
Honey, I know I'm only 2 miles away from the house, but you saw those storm clouds too, right? You saw them.
Yeah, honey, we got to get the membership paid off. If we don't play, our 15 rounds, we ain't gonna get the membership paid off.
I mean, it's the same thing as buying a $150 pair of jeans because they were 25% off, even though you didn't need them.
Right.
We got to get our memberships worth here.
Honey, this is not a cheap round. I got to definitely finish this one out. Got like a fucking par 3 course. That's like $15 to play.
Yeah, having the round of my life. I got to finish it out. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, weather delay, round of your life.
I said this to Bo today. I was like, I'm going for a record today, like a PR. He's like, oh, really? And like trying to be nice to me. And I was like, yeah. Highest score I've ever gotten.
That's a good way to.
And he was like so polite about it. And he's like, "Oh, good for you, man." And you could tell he's like, "Oh, fuck, this guy sucks."
That is good. You did commit. You committed to the hook today, though.
Oh, I sure did.
Hard.
There was one time where I played my hook so egregiously. I was aimed 100 yards to the right. And I piped the straightest drive I have hit all summer long. It did not waver off a rope.
So, I mean, why aren't we just not doing that on just regular holes?
I don't know, dude. I can't begin to tell you what I changed in my swing to hit it straight or what happened differently to make that one go straight other than I aimed right.
Maybe you interlocked your fingers on accident.
I definitely didn't do that.
I think interlocking, it
was an overlap that time.
Yeah, the overlap could be the new grip hack.
Yeah. I think, you know what, I think I'll try and fix my swing tomorrow in the middle of the Pro-Am. I think that's a good time to try it.
It's not a bad time to start experimenting with it.
Yeah, they say there's no better time than the present.
Correct.
So they call it the present because it's a gift.
Yeah, well, it's the future because it's happening tomorrow, but we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, speaking of just the mental side of the game, we've been talking a lot about the mental side of the game. We're gonna have one of the pros from PGA Tour Canada on the podcast next segment. We know this shit's a grind, right? We think that that us playing golf is hard at times. Imagine just trying to scrape by, put food on the table.
I'm gonna start the interview off with when's the last time you shot a 102? Just to compare.
Do it. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. Let's do a quick over under too. I'm gonna sit over under the age of 12.
Hammer that under.
Under.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
It's gotta go like 8.
I'm gonna go over because I think 13, 14 is a great time to shoot a 102.
Yeah, but not from the junior tees, and you've made it your life at this point.
Yeah.
Imagine the testosterone running through a 13 to 15-year-old though. Like I feel like these kids are
have to do with the golf?
what I was gonna say is these kids are getting angry on the golf course. So if a couple things go wrong, then I mean it's all downhill from there.
I mean, the testosterone I had at 13 was not anger testosterone. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's a different kind
It
of.
starts with an H and ends with orny.
Jesus, Tyler. Okay, so should we take a quick break, Tyler?
Yeah, we should.
We'll take a quick break. We'll maybe slug a couple beers, a couple bets on 18 here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk mental side of the game with PGA Tour Canada Pro.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Tyler, my goal for tomorrow,
Let's hear it, Ryan.
I'm going to try and get at least one pro on board with hitting Union Greens with me tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be...
That would be very sick.
I mean, if we can hit fairways, hit greens, it's like, hey, the ball speaks for itself. And it quite literally does speak for itself.
And honestly, we always talk about how it's easy to tell that that's our ball. It'll still be easier to tell which is our ball and which is the pros, because the pros will be in the fairway and further than ours.
Yeah.
And so there'll be no doubt.
Well, I don't know about tomorrow. We might have distance on the pros tomorrow. They're playing 80 yards behind us on every fucking tee.
I might still put money on the pro.
Yeah.
Regardless, it doesn't matter because we're going to be playing at Union Greens tomorrow. All four of us are going to be playing UGs.
Also, I brought a Sharpie specifically in case you guys didn't, so we could all determine.
So don't get mad at me, Union Green. There's a good chance that by the end of the day, I won't be playing Union Greens because I lost a lot of them today.
I got full box in my pickup.
Never mind.
Yep,
I'll
brought a
be
full
playing
box
them
too,
all
Tyler.
day.
Yep. It's like, hey, one thing that you got to keep in your car at all times, boxing Union Greens.
Well, I was going to
never
say,
know when you're going to need them.
I was going to say, even though I lost so many of them today, I'm not worried because you use promo code double bogey 20. You buy one box, you get another box. What is it?
20% off.
20% off. It's $1 a ball.
They're also running a merch deal right now too. You buy any 2 items of merch, 2 pieces of apparel, 2 hats, doesn't matter. You get a free box of T-Birds on them.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, we're giving golf balls away at this point. They're good balls. We love good balls.
Yep.
UnionGreen.com. Go check them out.
There is a 50-50 chance that this is the last time I ever hoist it. And the only thing even giving me a 50% chance is this bag of clubs right next to me.
Ooh. Tyler, what clubs
What
do
a
you have?
lead in.
Yeah, a great lead in. This is the Pro-Am Championship trophy. It says the 2023 Northern Pacific Center Pro-Am Champions Cragun's Legacy Course, August 30th, 2023. That is tomorrow. And I could not be more confident playing in that tournament with a set of PXGs in my hands. Jake hits PXG Gen 5s.
I do.
Trevor hits a bunch of PXG clubs. No idea what
You got a
Gen.
mutt of a bag.
He does.
A little PXG mix in. Yeah, I mean, the odds of us winning tomorrow are probably slight, but I'll tell you what, we're going to look damn good out there.
We will look very good.
We're going to have Gen 5, Gen 6 filled bags, and we're going to have ourselves a day with the PXGs here at Cragun's.
Yeah, folks are going to have a tough time figuring out who's the pro out of our group. All right.
That's actually a great point, Jake.
Yeah.
Just
like,
hopefully
hey.
they don't see us tee off from the whites and it gives it away. But if they see us in the fairway, they're not going to know which one's the pro.
I mean, I also think like the 4 of us could probably post a score just as good as a pro. So it's like if you put us
If we're
4,
scrambling, big asterisk.
correct.
Big
Yeah.
asterisk.
So it's like,
I
hey,
still don't know, guys.
no, for sure we could.
Nah,
do it.
I don't
If
know.
Trevor's
driver's son,
better be-
maybe.
If his driver's not dialed, then he's gone. We may send him home after the front 9.
Yeah, did you drive here? You're going to have to Uber
That's
back.
okay. He takes Jake's car back. Jake, you can ride with us.
Yeah, I got it.
Done and done.
Trevor, I don't think it's going to be a problem because you're hitting PXG driver with us. So
That's true. It better be on.
the proof is in the pudding. Guys, the Gen 6s are out. You know that. We've been telling you that. We've been playing them all summer. You got to go check them out. PXG.com. All right, guys, we're back from the break, and we're back from the break with our Pro-Am partner for tomorrow, Derek Hitchner.
Yeah.
Derek, I mean, we met, I would say maybe like 120 seconds ago. So this is like first impressions of you of us of you, and I think
Chemistry off the charts. To start.
it's gonna be. I think already just the initial vibes, we're gonna have a fantastic time tomorrow.
I agree. I'm looking forward to it.
As Tyler said, we take things very seriously. We follow every single rule possible.
It's a very straight-laced podcast.
Yeah.
No goofing around for
That's
us.
good to hear.
Yeah, no
Yes.
smiling, no laughing. I mean, this is a business trip for
Right.
us, so
No, it's business.
as it is for you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that perfectly leads into my first question. When is the last time you shot a 102?
Be honest, because we have over-under bets going on this.
Yes, we do.
we do.
Over-under the age of you shooting 102.
Man, this is going to be an estimate. Probably around the age of 8 or 9.
Damn, hammer the under.
Let's go.
Mine was this morning.
Not a great sign for tomorrow, but we can.
No, hey, I mixed some good ones in there, so I'll be a great scramble partner.
That's important.
Yes.
The best part is, though, we can take your drive off the tee box.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
the not so great part is we're going to be playing the tees 50 yards ahead of you. So if we can't hit fairways, we have to rely on your shot from 50 yards behind.
Right.
So
I'll go to the range after this and
there
get
we
the
go.
driver dialed in.
Driver dialed.
Perfect.
We're good to go.
Actually, that's another question I have. So Ryan was telling me about his range session here last year and how intimidating it was to be hitting the range next to all these professional golfers, and we are far from it. Do you have any advice for us to not be so intimidated out there?
Well, I feel the same way standing next to some of the guys out there too. So I completely relate. I don't know. I mean, I try to just do as well as I can to just focus on my swing, but it's hard when I'm like hitting next to a guy named Chase Sienkiewicz who hits the ball 60 yards further.
yeah, for sure.
It's like it's obviously intimidating, but they're guys who are going to be just naturally more powerful and just kind of have to embrace that, I guess.
Have you ever seen someone have to give a 4 call on the range?
I'm sure I've done it at some point.
Okay. Because I'm going to go on the far right end because all my shanks are straight right. So
just go right into the trees.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
Good.
So you're a Minnesota guy.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. We are all but Ryan Minnesota guys as well.
Every last one of us.
I like I like paying lower income taxes than you guys.
Yeah, with lower intelligence as well.
Okay, that's fair. Derek, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Like I said, we had just met 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ryan's got a running clock of how long we've known each other.
but it's not often you can hit it off with somebody so quick.
That's
Tyler.
true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I mean, we already started off with. I mean, you were probably breaking 100 at age 8 or 9.
I think so. Yeah, roughly.
I mean, that's an incredible feat. If you think about it, Tyler's still hitting over 100.
I mean, it's like 1 in every 10 rounds.
Yeah. It does. It contributes to the handicap a little bit, but dude, start from the beginning. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I was actually born in New Jersey and then moved to Minnesota when I was probably 3 or 4. So grew up just kind of right in Minneapolis for most of my life. Yeah, I mean, started getting pretty passionate about golf when I was probably around 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And then, just kind of started gradually kind of more specializing in golf. And so played like basketball and whatnot, and a few other sports. But then
sorry to interrupt. How did you get into golf because your dad was a golfer or because you lived by a golf course, or how did that all start?
Yeah, exactly the first thing. My dad played, so he introduced it to me. And then when we moved to Minneapolis, we were 30 seconds from a golf course. And so the access was there, which was awesome. So I could just walk up there any day and basically spend the entire day there.
What's your favorite muni in the cities?
That's a great question. Well, honestly, probably my favorite public courses are the ones in Boabik, just the Giants Ridge courses.
Oh, yeah.
I played there last year.
Those places
Phenomenal.
are fantastic. Yeah. More in the city, though, I would say probably Rush Creek.
Yep.
I guess maybe that's a little outside the city. I like Rush Creek a lot. Trying to think what else. I think the new Braemars is pretty solid. They renovated that a couple years ago, I think. A lot of good options though.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good golf kind of in that area.
So you moved to Minnesota. Was it when you started golfing, around almost single digits, 8, 9, 10 years old? Was it always kind of a dream years to play at University of Minnesota?
Yeah, I would say initially that's kind of what I aspired to, and then
kids that age are like, oh, I want to be on the PGA Tour. I want to do this. Obviously, they're like, I want to play golf for Division I Minnesota Gophers, right?
Yeah. I think that's definitely the first step in the ladder. But then as I continue to play golf more seriously, I obviously had to spend 6 months indoors, and I got to a point where I just realized I probably didn't want to do this in college too. So then I started looking outside of the state to see if I could go somewhere warmer, just to play year round and hopefully develop a little more by having just more golf that I could play. So at that point, I probably moved on from the U a little bit. Yeah. Still, obviously, I know I would have had a great experience there, but I just felt like just from a developmental standpoint, I wanted something a little different just so I could just play more golf. Because I felt like I was competing against guys who were playing like literally twice as much golf as me outdoors. And I feel like that made a big difference.
I think the people coming up north to play golf grew up in the South because they have no idea what the winters are like. They would never come up here if they didn't know.
Yeah,
probably right.
So it's Pepperdine. You played at Pepperdine.
Yep.
And is Pepperdine in Florida? I don't know where Pepperdine is.
It's in California.
No
so
shit. I
just
couldn't have
outside of
been
Los
on
Angeles.
any further away.
Well, I mean, it's a small school. It kind of gets overshadowed by like USC, UCLA.
Yeah.
They're basically all in a similar area.
Would have been a great trivia question for us. Where's Pepperdine? I have no idea.
That's locked in now. It's in California somewhere, not Florida.
Yeah. So just outside of Los Angeles, so the weather's absolutely perfect.
Oh yeah, and you got access to unbelievable courses over there too.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so much good golf in that area.
So what was the jump like going from, like you said, playing indoors for 6 months a year to now all of a sudden year round you are outdoors playing in pretty damn good conditions?
Yeah. I mean, it was great for a lot of reasons, but I also had to make sure I wasn't playing too much because obviously when you're in Minnesota, you're just kind of naturally confined to playing for 6 months a year. And so that's kind of the one thing I just had to be aware of is like not burning myself out by playing too much. But I mean, I love playing. I always have. So that didn't really end up being any sort of issue. But yeah, it was definitely an adjustment just, waking up in January and being able to go and it's 70 degrees out at the course.
Yeah.
And, so I loved it for a lot of reasons. And like kind of what you touched on, the courses are phenomenal. And so
Sure.
a lot of great places to play there.
That's actually a fantastic lead. And I think the biggest thing for us, I would say even the biggest thing for me in general is the mental side of the game for me is like my biggest kryptonite, right?
Okay.
So it's like, hey, if things aren't going my way, it's hard for me to fix them either on the fly or even like in the next 10 range sessions. So I think that 6 months off in the wintertime is really good for me as a golfer.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So it's like, I can only imagine if I would force myself to go out and play if I could every week of the year.
Yeah.
Luckily I can't. I think it would be a huge danger to my mental in general if I was able to play full time. So it kind of leads into, we've been talking a lot about the mental game in general. We talked about, there's a guy named Dr. Izzy Justice. He came out with a study, did the 6,000 brain scans on people putting. I don't know if you,
putting.
Actually, I saw something on that on Twitter.
Sure.
Recently.
Yep. That's where it originates. So we talked about that, and we're going to have him on the podcast within the next couple of weeks to dive more in depth with it. But just from a mental standpoint, when you're not hitting it as good as that you can, what's the process for you? Is it range sessions? Is it putting the clubs down for 5-6 days? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, normally I'm just too tormented by bad play to like put the clubs away. So normally I find myself at the range for a few hours.
Me too.
Just like trying to hammer something out.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like I do a lot of experimentation even on the course. And so if I feel like I have a couple of swings that are inadequate or that don't feel great, then I'm just like starting the process of just kind of brainstorming, trying to figure out reasons for why that's happening and what I can do to address it. So yeah, usually I go to the course. I'll send a lot of videos to two coaches that I work with.
Yep.
And so usually it's just a lot of kind of processing and experimenting and thinking. And because I've just found that if I step away from the course, then I'm just, like I said, I'm tormented by it. I don't make any progress. And so I try to just address it head on, I guess.
You know what really works for me is I take my divot fixer and my ball marker out of my right pocket and then I move it into my left pocket.
Okay. I haven't tried that. That's good to know.
I think that's a good one. So
I was telling these guys, I just switched from interlock. This happened in the last 48 hours. I switched from interlocking grip to just overlap with the pinky.
I haven't heard the word interlocking more in my entire life than I have today with Ryan talking about his grip.
Yeah, well, I mean, things went exponentially better today than they have in the last 3 weeks.
Fair enough.
So it's like it's classic tin cup moment. It's just
right.
Do something to your game to make you not think about what's going wrong.
It's funny you say that because I've actually had some grip discomfort throughout the summer, and I'm not gonna lie, I have experimented with an overlap grip. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't stuck with it.
Let him finish, Ryan.
Hey, I'll stick with it for a while. Say, hey, God, after 3 weeks, total breakthrough.
Yeah,
with the overlapping.
You never know. But I mean, a lot of guys on tour use an overlap grip. A lot of guys out here do. I feel like it has upside. If it's more comfortable, then it's worth trying. And seeing how it goes.
How important is being comfortable? Because I remember the first few times I got lessons, I was so uncomfortable until it wasn't. And then randomly one day, my normal grip or my normal stance will feel uncomfortable for some reason. Yeah. And then I just go to what's comfortable. How important is it to be comfortable in your stance or in your whenever?
Yeah, at least for me, I think it's pretty critical. Just because if I'm not comfortable, I feel like I get so distracted by what that feels like as opposed to focusing on the shot at hand or the target at hand. And so usually for me, I try to feel like just an athlete in those situations, just to kind of get my mind outside of what doesn't feel right and then just like try to feel athletic, try to swing kind of instinctually, and just like try to find a way to avoid whatever discomfort I'm experiencing. And so it's, I feel that a lot though. Like even today on a few shots, I just didn't feel great. And so trying to kind of divert my mind to something else tends to work, at least at times.
Okay. Yeah. Cause like I will look up and down my swing. Like everything looks fine. Why do I feel like I am standing in a pretzel right now, even though everything is as it's supposed to be? What's going on with me?
Right.
But yeah.
No, I get that.
I was telling you today, I've begun to black out during my golf swing.
Mm-hmm.
I can go onto the range and I can have a really good range session, and then I can get to the first tee and I'm like, I don't know what just happened. That was a completely different swing than what I did just 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So it's like even for guys like us, for higher handicappers, it's like we don't play or practice enough to be able to develop the muscle memory to feel comfortable more often than not. And I know you don't always feel comfortable. But for us, it's literally day to day.
Yeah.
So hopefully tomorrow's a different story.
Yeah, hopefully, but we'll work through it if it's not. But on a smaller scale, I'm sure I feel a similar thing. There's some days where swing feels fantastic and it looks good on video, and then the next day it looks good on video, but it feels horrendous. And it's hard to pinpoint why that is sometimes, but it's just kind of a day-to-day thing, and just try to work through it, I guess, as best you can.
It's the most mentally confusing sport on the planet.
100%.
It doesn't make any sense.
I completely agree.
Roller coasters up and down, and we talk about this all the time. It's like, why do we pay so much money just to get pissed off?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And even in your case, it's like, hey, like you've devoted now your life to making it to the top, and it's like when things don't feel comfortable, you're like, how long do I have to play this sport so I can feel comfortable again?
No, we were in Winnipeg last week, and I was like 3 or 4 over through the first 14 holes of the first round. I was contemplating retirement at that point. I felt like
I was 4 over through 2 holes today.
Well, I was like last on the leaderboard at that point, and I mean, it just But then the next day, it felt great, and I played better, and it's such a taxing sport. But I just there's always it seems to be there's always a shot in those bad rounds that just draws you back.
Yes.
The next day, it's just golf kind of sneaks it in there to kind of keep you hooked, and it seems like that's how it works for the most part.
So that's a great segue into another question I have for you. One, is golf ever not fun for you? And if so, what do you do to make it fun again?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd say I'm progressively seeing the non-fun side of it now that I'm playing for a living. Just because it's obviously super frustrating to travel to somewhere in Canada and play poorly and miss a cut because you feel like it's just a lost week. And so that part of it is very unfortunate just because you spend a lot of money to get there, and like you're just kind of falling behind in the points list and the money list and whatnot. At the end of the day, oftentimes if I'm playing like that, I try to just go out for like a sunset round or something, because that seems to be just when I enjoy golf the most. Just it's obviously pretty calm. I just enjoy the atmosphere a lot, and so just kind of I use that as a way of resetting when it feels like it's frustrating.
Do you keep scoring those rounds?
Usually, yeah. It's hard for me not to.
No, I know. Mentally, it's like I'm sure even today's practice round, you could retrace holes 1 through 18, and you could just tell us on paper what you shot today.
Probably, yeah.
And that's the same for me too. But we had talked last week. We said one way to make golf fun again for high handicappers like us who are just like in this mental rut with the game is like just go out and don't keep score. Because then there's no measure of success on a 78 or an 85 or a 92 or what have you.
Totally. Yeah.
But obviously, your previous pleasure is now business for you. This is how you make money. It's how you put food on the table. So I understand how it would be hard not to.
Yeah. But no, to your point, if you go out and just like hit a bunch of shots on random tee boxes or whatnot, then you can kind of force yourself to not keep score.
Yeah.
So you literally don't have one. That probably is a better way to enjoy it if you're frustrated with how the game is.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good idea.
So what, for high handicappers, what piece of advice would you give them on, hey, if you want to get better at the game of golf, here's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Don't say overlapping grip, please.
No, I'll avoid that.
I understand if you do, because it could be revolutionary.
It sounds like it. I'm excited to see this tomorrow. It sounds exciting. Honestly, what came to mind initially was a Hank Haney tweet I saw, which was like a good kind of set of ideas for high handicappers is to basically eliminate penalty shots, eliminate 3 putts, and eliminate double chips.
Yep.
Like that kind of naturally just simplifies the game a little bit. Obviously, it's so much harder than just taking those things off the board.
Sure.
But yeah, I'd say, I mean, penalty shots as a starting point is key. Obviously, it's like it's not as simple as just walking up to the tee and just you're discontinuing hitting balls in the water. But
Right.
if you just look at it from a score standpoint, like that's kind of one of the things that you probably need to refine a little bit just to gradually work the score down. And then just like if you're around the greens, just making sure you get it on the green as opposed to hitting like a miracle shot.
Yep.
And then just a lot of the time, honestly, just kind of having a different mindset with putting, where you're just kind of trying to get it by the hole as opposed to like trying to force a putt in. Because oftentimes 3 putts happen when like speed gets a little reckless, maybe blow it by the hole, and then you miss a comebacker. And so, I guess those are just some general ideas I have.
No, absolutely. Okay, so you said that you saw that you had seen like the putting study with the brain scans that that doctor did. What's your thought on that?
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, when you're scanning someone's brain, odds are the data is going to be correct in that.
Yeah.
And it says if you don't take a practice stroke, I mean, you're more likely to make that putt.
So that's what I was going to ask, because I saw that one component of it, which was basically he was recommending to not take a practice stroke. Was that basically the core of the study?
Essentially the conclusion he came to is that taking a practice stroke wastes essential time. You have a target locked in once you look at your putt, and if you take a practice stroke after getting that target in your mind, you're wasting valuable seconds for your muscles to automatically put it in.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's like if you
don't take a practice stroke when you're putting.
Yes. If you can get the target and hold the target.
Yes.
The amount of putts that these people made were like 75% higher.
Really?
Okay. It was a super high percentage. Yeah.
I mean, I actually I discontinued using practice strokes probably like 5 or 6 years ago, and
throughout your game, driver, irons, everything? Or
I more so just with putting.
Okay.
And the reason for that was I felt like I would just get too kind of mechanically focused when I was practicing a putting stroke, just because I'd kind of be aware of what the stroke looked like, and then I'd start maybe thinking, oh, that looked a little too outside or too inside. And then just by nature of doing that, you get kind of sidetracked from just your awareness of what the target is. And then I feel like your speed awareness also probably deteriorates a little bit. And so I just like kind of standing behind it, just finding a target around the hole and then just stepping into it and basically putting it on the target.
Sure.
And I feel like that strategy allowed me to just be as just more kind of target oriented as what I was before when I was taking practice strokes. And so it's an interesting study.
I'm actually upset the study came out, because I used to do it on purpose to blame not taking a putting stroke or practice stroke on why I missed the putt.
Yeah.
So
I see.
Thanks for that, Dr. Izzy. Well, I would have made it if I practiced, but I didn't practice that putt. So
yeah, it'd be fun to dive into it a little deeper with him on like, hey, does this also apply to irons and wedges and all that kind of stuff?
I wonder. Yeah, because my reaction to that is oftentimes practice swings with full swing shots is kind of an opportunity for you to feel a certain swing thought that you might have that you then apply to the shot.
Yes.
But I guess the question is that swing thought like valuable? Is that something that you want to be thinking of?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to stand over a shot and just kind of swing it without any sort of feel or any sort of like mechanical thought. But maybe that's the best approach to doing it. So I'd be curious to know what he says on that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
When's he coming on? I don't know.
Couple
about
weeks.
This. Cool.
Yep.
All right.
That's cool.
You heard it here first.
We'll get it set up.
Do you ever play extra games on the course?
Like betting games? Or?
Betting games, 3-putt poker, wolf, whatever.
Yeah, occasionally.
Do you have a favorite?
I don't know if I have a favorite necessarily. At school, we play this game called Banker pretty frequently.
Okay. Go on. We're always looking for new games.
We've never heard of it.
Yes.
So it works best with probably a foursome or a fivesome, but I mean, you can do it with 3 too. But basically, you have a money range that you set the hole for, and then there's a banker who everyone plays against. So basically, like you can set the range from $2 to $5 a hole, and then each player decides what quantity they want to play for on that specific hole, and then they play the one banker. So it's basically like 3 head-to-head matches.
Okay.
But the other 3 guys aren't playing against each other. It's just each of them 3
It's a
individually.
1v1, every individual against the banker.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
And then there are all these variations about if you make a birdie, you can double it. You can also double it mid-flight off the tee.
Really?
Yeah. So
I
mean,
like that.
It can be just ridiculous rabbit hole of what you can do.
Is this self-made game? Like, did you guys come up with this on your own, or is it?
I did not come up with this.
Okay.
I mean, I tend to not like betting for an excessive amount of money.
Yeah,
and
we
so-
never bet for.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I mean,
So like, I would like playing for small amounts, just because I mean, it keeps it interesting.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know where it came from. Someone on the team last year just introduced me to it, and so we ended up playing that quite a bit.
I like that. It's got to be super electric when someone doubles mid-air on their drive.
Yeah,
Like double that. That's mid-fairway. I love it.
Well, because the money quantity can accelerate like super quickly because you can double and the banker can also double. So it can go from like 5 to 10 to 20 really quickly. And then if a birdie occurs, then it doubles again. And so like there are a lot of different variations for how you can play, but it can get pretty exciting pretty quickly.
So is the banker always the banker, or does that switch each hole?
It switches based on who hit it closest on the previous hole,
Okay.
or who made birdie.
Gotcha.
Okay.
And so
Otherwise
oftentimes
you have like
it cycles quite a
Yeah,
bit.
you get like your rich buddy in there. You're like, hey, you're just banker all.
Well, that works too.
We're just playing against you or whatever.
Yeah. I haven't played that
Sure.
rendition of it, but usually it cycles quite a bit just because obviously some guys make birdie on
Cool.
and so yeah, it's a fun game. It's it can get very interesting though pretty quickly.
Mid-flight, Tyler.
I love that.
That's great.
I'm gonna start doubling it mid backswing.
Yeah, I'll start hitting 4-iron punch shots.
Yep.
So you have no
Double
chance.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
So how are you feeling going into tomorrow and going into Thursday?
Yeah. Well, tomorrow's become incredibly important to me. I'm probably more focused on this round tomorrow than the tournament.
Beautiful. I'd love
Trying
to
to
hear
perform
that.
for you guys.
Here's the trophy, by the way, if you want to look at it. We're really hoping this isn't the last time we get to hold it.
Right. Yeah, feeling pretty solid though. It's been a busy summer. Had some good golf and some frustrating golf, but that's kind of how it naturally always is.
Yep.
But I feel like I'm heading in the right direction with a few things, and so I'm excited for the week. It's just hard there. There are a lot of good players here, and you just have to. Oftentimes, with how the courses are set up, you just have to be making birdies to make the cut and to have any sort of chance for contending. And so, it just kind of puts a premium on just giving yourself looks and trying to make as many birdies as possible. And so that's kind of the mindset each week. And feeling pretty solid though overall.
Good.
That's awesome, man.
We'll for sure be watching the leaderboard, and if you ever find yourself slipping, just take that divot fixer, put it in the other pocket, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. We also have we have a great track record of PGA Tour Canada pros coming on this podcast and making it to Corn Ferry Tour the year after. So
it's good to know.
It's like, hey, I hope we can bring you some good juju. We'll be cheering for you now that we know you. We'll be able to play with you tomorrow. And it's we're gonna have a good couple days here.
Yeah.
So
should be fun.
Derek, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
It's a wrap. I don't remember what episode this is, but here's the intro music because I forgot to intro the pod.
Oh, nice.
You piped that the wrong way.
I'll call the clubhouse. We'll book another 18 for tomorrow.
Okay, they cheated on that. They fluffed their balls.
Yeah, no better time for the breakfast ball than now.